Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
And today we're watching Clannad episode 16. What happened last time?
Last time was a lot of fucking around, and yeah, now this episode's called 3-on-3 apparently, so I think that we're gonna do that basketball match.
Right.
So we'll see what that's about in this episode.
Yeah, please support the official releases. If you end up liking this video, please make sure to like it and maybe subscribe. Check out our Patreon to get ahead, and let's get into it. Huge mess. Since when was it that messy? We're in that room like
it was never
every
that
episode.
Messy. That's a bit much. I don't know when it got that messy. Like, it was messy always, but there's shit all over the place. But it wasn't like
not like
full of
literal
trash bags emptied out on his floor somehow.
I just threw out everything he owns.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never been used before. Of course you can.
What?
Relax.
Oh, right. That's fair.
I like how her parents are so chill that she can literally just invite anyone over to her house. We haven't seen them in a while, actually.
A few episodes.
What?
What? Are we on this now? What is happening? The last, like, page of dialogue, the last 2 pages of dialogue in this script have been about this imaginary scar on her ass.
I actually completely forgot that the basketball game was about the clubs.
Oh yeah, well it doesn't make any sense. It's not connected to it in any real way at all. It's just they're fucking around is the whole point. That's something I'm not too fond about right now, is that, like, there was that huge conflict introduced about keeping the drama club, and their solution to it is going to have, like, 0 bearing on, like, what the conflict is right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're just kind of fucking around, which would be fine if there wasn't the conflict directly established. Because they like fully set up that they have this conflict. We need to make sure the club is going to be okay. And then now...
Well, it looks like they're making a move on it now.
They're making a move on the fake baseball or the basketball game. Oh, that's what in the intro when she's like dribbling the basketball and wearing the gym clothes. How does it depend on that? I just want to know how this is connected.
It's also so weird because they're not even fighting against the they're fighting the basketball
They're fighting
team.
random people. I just want to know how this relates to it at all, is what I want to know. Is this going to be about her sister?
What do you mean? What's the reaction? You beat this guy up like every day of his life.
We'll see about that. Oh god. The matchup of the century.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't have a girlfriend, I have a harem, okay? It's a completely different thing.
About what?
About
how he's being late? What feeling? I'm so confused about what the fuck we're even doing right now. Feels like none of this is going literally anywhere at all.
Got a granny shot it.
His arm's still all fucked up. That's pretty sad.
It is really sad. What is that thing?
It's like a little Buddha statue thing.
It's your perfect opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. You've been waiting for this.
Oh, not him? That's... His sister, who he really misses, comes over to invite him to, like...
The place where he's wanted to go this entire time. Yeah. Thank you for asking. What's the answer?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. What's the answer? They're gonna cut away right after.
Are they gonna be so inspired by their teamwork that they're gonna be like, no?
They must be, right? That has to be how this ends. Because I know there's gonna be some bullshit thing where it's like, oh, it did matter in the end to what they were doing, but I feel like I don't give a fuck about this game because I don't know, like, they haven't established that. They aren't playing for those reasons. They have no real reason to play this at all. Okay, here we go. The music.
Wow. Nice. Throws the dictionary at them so much.
How are they gonna win against the team basketball? Like, it's the school basketball team. You're gonna tell me that, like, these guys who play every single day of their lives are gonna lose to these fucking losers? These randoms.
I mean,
What reaction time is that?
Oh my god.
I thought this was your thing.
They're playing against, like, the easy ones first.
Oh god. Oh, some power scaling. Exactly what we need for this random, pointless basketball game. Oh my god.
Please don't be swayed by this.
Please don't. I really don't want them to be swayed. What does this mean to you at all? Does this change the reasons that you want? Oh my god.
She is pretty cool.
Oh god.
Okay, swap it out. Girls, get in here. Damn it.
Why is this 40-year-old man playing on the high school basketball team?
Darn. I do like all, like, the cool colors and effects, though.
Yeah.
For this, like, it's really...
I just wish Netflix had better quality, because it's, like, all pixelated and shit.
Shit.
Oh no, they can't lose. Because if they lose, then... Oh no, what happens if they lose?
I still want them to win, though.
I guess, I just wish they got, like, there's something happened.
This is gonna... It's so random, but it's so weird because it's like it's such, like, actually a good moment, like, for his character of, like, the whole, like, he hasn't been able to play basketball and then he, like, wins it, but it's just so random and makes no sense. Weren't a fan of that one?
No, it felt like a filler. It felt like I just don't give a fuck, honestly. I don't care about that basketball game. It didn't make me feel hyped. I wasn't wrapped up in the character of it, really. I don't feel like it added anything to the story, like, at all. This episode literally could have been cut out, and I doubt it would have made a difference on, like, where everything's going to be going, because it didn't have a bearing on anything. I wish that I cared about, like, about just the random shit that, like, doesn't mean anything, but I just don't. Like, I prefer the Fuko and Kotomi arcs to this by far, because they were, like, it felt like when they were just fucking around and doing something, and doing nothing, it was for something. It was, like, if they were just hanging out, it was, like, to try and cheer somebody up, or to be there for somebody. In this episode and in the last one, it just kind of feels like there's no conflict. There, like, the conflict that was established, like I said, I pretty much said what I felt during the episode. The conflict that was established for this part of the story had literally zero to do with what was happening and how they're trying to accomplish it. And again, like we touched on last episode, that would be fine if we already cared about the characters. But I feel like a broken record just saying the same things as last time. But, like, I still feel like we're in this stage of learning about the world we're in and the characters who are at play. I don't feel like I'm already at a place where I'm already, like, feel like I'm friends with them, or I am cool with just bullshitting with them and hanging out and, you know, doing whatever. I don't care enough about them to care about the moment to moment, them just joking around and doing literally nothing. Because I need there to be something pulling them in a direction, or pushing them in a direction, in order to care about what's going on. Just them being on screen isn't enough to make me give a shit about this random basketball game.
Do you think that's because you don't fully buy that they're all, like, the best of friends when, like, the way that they've been hanging out seems kind of manufactured towards, like, a plot line?
I don't think that's it. I think that them being friends does make sense. It's just that I just, you know, there's nothing driving these actions. Like, I guess they're hanging out, but, like, the fact that a conflict was explicitly established, and then they just go off in a different direction. They make such a big deal about how Nagisa wants to be in the drama club, and everyone wants to be in drama club now, and everyone wants the whole thing has been going towards that direction. And she had a huge thing about, like, how she was sad, but what I care about most is you, Okazaki, and so whatever. But, like, it feels like there was this urgency, and then they just forgot about it. It feels like this is a filler, is what this feels like. It feels like next episode there's going to be something about actually making it happen, or talking to them. Yeah. And then they're going to bring up, oh, well, I was inspired by their performance in the basketball game, as, like, a way to kind of make it so that this made sense or was worth anything. But I feel, or not, or it's just going to be resolved. Like, I just don't know what the point of this is. At all.
The random sports insert in these stories.
But in the other ones, they made it a critical part of, like, what's going on in Charlotte. I guess I don't want to spoil everything, but, like, so I won't. But that was wrapped into, like, the sort of superpowers and shit like that, and they were scouting out somebody, and it was directly related to the main plot. Yeah. And in Angel Beats, I forget why.
Angel Beats, it was wrapped into one of the character stories, as well as it was a direct conflict.
That's the other thing.
It was like
that's the other thing. It was established in the beginning. That episode in Angel Beats, it started out with the flashback from the character who the episode was about. It was a self-contained thing, like this was, and I'm sure maybe Jun might have learned from this, possibly, and worked that into his later scripts, but. In Angel Beats, it was like the episode starts out with this, and then it ends with, like, it closes the loop. In this, it's like, last episode they establish it, and then only in the moment, and it was kind of implied throughout that, like, Okazaki was having some character shit, but it was only in the moment that it became, like, actually relevant to what was going on, and it never really ended up being as relevant, because there was no, like, closed loop. There was no, like, thing established at the beginning of, like, this little thing, and then at the end of it, that's resolved. It's like, we're in the same place before as we are now. We're in the exact same place. Nothing changed at all.
I really kind of wish that they had, like, that the conflict had been directly in it, as in they had been doing, like, a playoff against the other girls, or, like, they had been, because they were literally, like, the girls from the choir club literally came there and were like,
why
are we
here?
watching this?
Why does it matter?
It's not like, oh, there was some kind of deal made where, like, the confrontational girl from their group and Sunahara got together and he was like, oh, well, I'm going to challenge you to basketball. And then
I'm sure there's
like,
a number of ways.
I mean?
I'm sure there's like a million ways that it could have been relevant, but this wasn't one of them. There's like a million different things they could have done to make this actually a thing that is worth being there, but they didn't, and it's just it's full. It's like the rest of the shit that we're talking about with this show, where every episode and everything that happens is banking on you having investment in the characters that they didn't fully establish. It's like they put characters on screen, and we're at the point now where we're more than halfway through the show, and they expect us, based on things that they didn't do, they expect us to, like, be in love with the characters, and I'm just not. They expect us to, like, that to be the thing carrying us through. Because if you care about being with the characters all the time, and you immediately, like, imprint on them, and you're immediately, like, fully with anything that they do, you just want to watch them be on screen, then yeah, it would make sense that you would care about this. Mm-hmm. But I need there to be some sort of conflict in order for me to get on board with what's going on. I kind of care about Kotomi. The one person who had like the first long arc is literally gone. Yeah. Fuko's gone. Is just not in the story. We have Okazaki and Nagisa, who I care about, but they're not going in that direction. They kind of did with Okazaki here, but again, it wasn't anything of substance, where like his character progression or his shit that's going on there it was like vaguely touched on in this episode when there was an opportunity to make it about him and like, you know, make me endeared to him, make me care more about, because I care about Nagisa, Okazaki. I care about some of the girls some of the time, depending on what's going on, but a lot of the time it seems like they're just filling time with whatever gags about how Sunahara and Okazaki are gay, and it's like, okay, you literally made that joke last episode and you're still making it again with his sister, and it's supposed to be funny, but it's just not, because I don't care about his sister. She just got here. I don't super care about Sunahara. He's kind of funny, but he's more of a loud is funny kind of guy, so I'm not like falling over laughing at every single thing he does. I think it's his dynamic with Tomoyo is funny.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of things that could be happening that are good, and a lot of things that have been established, like their relationship, which I do find funny, and I want to see more of them on screen. But like, there's this weird thing where the show is either trying to tug on your heartstrings that they haven't like tied on, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't made the connections that they're trying to fuck with by like fucking with your emotions or making you like laugh and care about what people are doing and talking about. Like, they're trying to they're trying to like play with emotions that they haven't like fully established. They just put the characters on screen, they make them tell some jokes to each other, and then they assume that you already like them, and or not just that you like them. I like the characters just fine, but that you're like fully invested in anything they do. When they haven't put in the work or the time on screen, or like establish the stakes for all of the characters involved, or all the ones that they want to be relevant. And you could argue that that's what they were trying to do here, but now Sunahara's sister is gone.
Yeah. And
Sunahara didn't actually get any real development, or like there wasn't anything that was established with him and then was solved by this episode to the point where I'm like, oh, I was with him on a little journey there.
Yeah, he is very competitive because he also feels like he hasn't been able to achieve what he wants to do or whatever, and then
you just told us that,
and
now you're expecting us to be on board with that. He thinks that his
sister doesn't care about him, but then his sister cares about him, and then she leaves.
That's not like a journey. That's not like an arc or a loop that was closed, an arc that was fulfilled. I don't feel like he's grown at all, and I've grown with him. I don't feel like that with basically anybody except for Kotomi, but she seems, like I said kind of last episode, it seems more and more like her arc's done.
And now she's in the background. There. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
That would be fine, but it's like, are we going to keep developing characters who just aren't going to be relevant? And if we are, let's establish a base of like Nagisa and Okazaki. It feels like we established them. We spent a lot of time with them, especially in the Fuko arc. But like, there isn't anything. I don't feel like we're moving forward with them towards something bigger. I don't feel, and maybe we would if this basketball game had any bearing. I feel like I'm ranting on it too much. It's not that I'm that upset with this episode specifically or where the show is going, it's not that I'm that upset about it. What I'm trying to do is explain why, even though I like the show, why I don't really care about what's going on in the story right now and why I want it to be better. I'm not trying to like go on this rant and tear the show down like I hate it, this or that. I want it to be better, but I just want everyone to understand the reasons why I don't really care about what happened this episode. Because, yeah, I guess that's it. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, why don't you, like, I don't know. I'm just trying to explain so people understand where I'm coming from. Because a lot of people watching the reaction I imagine if you're out there, you probably just like the characters. You probably just are watching and binged it and like, I like the story. I like all the people that are in it. I didn't need like convincing. I guess I'm explaining that I kind of need some more convincing. I need something more than just, oh, these characters are characters in a story that I'm watching. And they're going to play a pointless basketball game that has nothing to do with the conflict that was established literally the episode before.
I think a problem for me is that I'm not super attached to, like, the main two characters.
Yeah.
Enough that I'm, like, that I'm willing to, like, go along with the characters that I'm, like, not... Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was, like, 100% on his side and, like, really worried, or, like, I was, like... concerned about his relationship, because obviously they're setting up him and Nagisa are probably like the end couple that is going to come out of this, but they're like doing these things of like, oh well, like what if he's with this girl? I get it because it's the
visual novel.
The visual novel was you pick a girl and like that's how it goes, but it seems like Nagisa is the girl and then the other girls were just going through their arcs. And that's fine, but I don't feel stressed when I'm seeing one of the other girls blush at him, and then I'm not like, oh shit, I hope he doesn't, like, I hope he doesn't go for her. Instead, it's not like a different romance show where you might be so invested in the main couple that you're, like, stressed for the relationship, and you hope that it works out, and that's an added thing.
It's like a foregone conclusion. I don't know how much that plays a role for me. I don't think, like, I need there to be this romantic tension and are they or aren't they type of thing.
I guess I'm not saying that I need there to be, but I'm saying, like, that's another thing that's, like, not there, that they sometimes seem to be playing up a little bit of, like, oh, this other girl probably likes him. Oh, does she like him? No, her sister likes him.
I think it's simpler than that. I don't think that they're trying to play up any kind of romantic tension. I think what they're just doing is it's just a cute exchange. It's just she's a cute girl, and they like he maybe would have feelings for her if there's you know, like they're just, again, because of the visual novel, she clearly likes him, and that's cute. The end. That's it. And if you already like that, then you like that. But if you are like me, or I guess maybe you, and you need there to be, like, that needs to be in service of something, or have some sort of connection to something, or be, like, foreshadowing something, or not just be this enclosed little, like, nothing that has no bearing on anything at all that is going to be happening in the plot or story. Like, it just, like, there needs to be some sort of consequences to what's being taken place. There needs to be some sort of, like, domino effect to the stuff that's happening, at least some of the time. Because that's how I get invested in characters. I don't just get invested in characters or, like what I see just because I'm seeing it, just because these are characters and they're cute and they're on screen and they're talking and they're having fun and they're joking around. Like, that is a reward for developing a character and creating a connection between the audience and the character. I feel like they're having their dessert before their dinner at this point, where I'm getting just bombarded with cake. It's just all cake. It's all like, but there's no like real sustenance. There's nothing really keeping me alive in this story. It's all just reward after reward, and like it's not fan service, but it's kind of that same thing where like
to me, it's like this this mini basketball arc is similar to like an OVA, like the material that's like, you already love all these characters. Now we're doing this kind of side quest adventure.
Check out all these fun situations,
and they're having fun. They're playing basketball. There's like a little bit of character stuff going on there that's really good if you already know what's going on.
It feels like filler. It feels like a filler in like Naruto or whatever. It's a filler episode. And if it is just a filler episode, then I'm cool, and you guys can take all this with a grain of salt and not let it, like, affect the rest of the show. But a lot of these things have, like, been seen in previous arcs, but right now, I'm looking back on the Kotomi arc a lot more fondly, even though there was, like, 2 episodes where he was literally just gardening, literally pulling weeds for an episode and a half.
Every blade of grass.
Every single blade of grass in the garden. He worked nights and nights and turned down help. Like, that was the whole thing. And looking even more fondly back on the Fugo arc, where she was doing the same thing of making stars, handing out stars, making stars, handing out stars, less people see her, making stars, handing out stars, almost nobody sees her, making stars, handing out stars, her friends are starting to lose sight of her, making stars, and now they've forgotten about her. Oh wait, no they didn't, and now it's okay. That was the whole arc, and that was fine, because there was some tension there was some conflict, that what they were doing was connected to, like, a greater purpose. But unfortunately, the one person, there was, like, Nagisa, Okazaki, and Fuko, and then the others were, like, background.
Yeah.
Fuko's gone, except for hanging out every once in a while. Nagisa and Okazaki, that's, like, in the past. So none of that has any bearing on what's happening now.
They also all forgot about it, so it's, like, literally not even
That's
relevant.
another thing. They literally forgot that it happened. So like the experience is, like, clearly maybe not even clearly, possibly affecting the way that they're living now, but not clearly.
They're not aware of it.
They're not aware of it, and they don't remember. So it's not like
It's not like they're like, yeah, I remember Fuko, and I, like, never want anyone to be as alone as she was, so now, like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's, like, subconsciously there a little bit.
And I know a lot of people are going to be like, this is slice of life. This is what slice of life is about. As far as I'm aware, slice of life does not mean pointless story where, like, nothing happens. Slice of life is, like, there's still conflict. It's lower stakes. It doesn't have to be about death and sadness all the time. But, like, there needs to be consequences to people's actions in order for me to care about them doing anything. Because if they can just do anything for no reason, then there's no story there. There's no plot. There's no story. There's no, like, there's no reason to be invested in what's going on. If anything they do has no bearing on anything, then what's the point? That's my frustration specifically with this episode, but it seems to be getting worse and worse throughout each arc. Like, if we track that from the beginning 2 episodes, which were about Nagisa and Okazaki, those were very strongly rooted in their characters. Like, when I think back to what the show was at the beginning versus what it is now, the difference is each action, each scene was tied into their characters and their relationship, and Okazaki not knowing what he's doing or, like, where he's going with his life, and deciding, like, losing his purpose with basketball and deciding to help out this girl who wants to find her own purpose. Like, that was very strong stuff, and it was very rooted in their own characters. And then slowly with each arc, it's been fading away to now the point where we had a literal filler episode. And I hope that that's not a trend that continues for the rest of the show, and then everyone's like, that's why After Story is better, is because, like, you got hooked with the first 2 episodes, and then it, like, degraded throughout the rest of Clannad, and then, like, After Story kicks in, and it's like, holy shit, this is, now things do have consequences, now things do this or that. That's my guess. That I feel pretty strongly about that guess, but I don't want it to interfere with anything, so I'll just watch the show as it comes. But what I want people to take away is that we don't hate the show. We just there's a significant change. There's a difference between what it is now and what it was at the beginning.
When I think about the first couple episodes specifically, like, it seems completely different from that now. Like, when I think about learning about his dad and the accident and, like, how his mom died and, like, all this, like, crazy shit, and, like, then we learn about Nagisa and how she's sickly, apparently, and her parents are really, really nice, but they're also very young, and, like, it's, like, so, like, I had, like, almost forgotten about it at this point, because it's, like, so, like, barely there. I don't need it, I guess I don't want it shoved in my face all the time, but I feel like I was so much more invested in that than I have been in pretty much anything else.
It's because every scene had consequence for, like, the characters. Everything that was happening was building towards a revelation, like learning something about them, or them doing something that had consequences for the future, or, like,
it also
something.
didn't seem like Okazaki was helping her, but it didn't seem like he had all the answers and he was dealing with his own problems.
Yeah.
and now it kind of seems like he's just there to help everyone, and he'll get it right 100% of the time, almost.
It feels kind of like Bunny Girl, where it's like, you know...
Now you're just the magical boy who swoops in and solves every problem ever.
And then once the problems are solved with that one girl, then you just move on to a
and then the girl's there in case you need them again, but if you don't need them, they're also happy to sit on the sidelines and wait for you to do whatever else you're doing. Yeah. I don't know, that's maybe just... I don't like that
if the
dynamic.
show gets worse than this, I'm genuinely not going to like it. Like, if we're gonna keep going on this trajectory, then it's not gonna be a good show. But I'm going to have faith that this is just a filler episode, that this is the next... This episode, maybe, like, the next 2 episodes, I'm guessing, will be, like, rough. And then we'll get into the final thing of the show, and then we'll get into After Story. But, like, the final thing of the show has to be better than this, or I'm going to be really disappointed, personally. That's why I'm out with the show. Like, they're starting to fuck with me a little bit too much to where I can take it, but if it keeps getting worse, then I'm going to be upset with the show.
Yeah, I know some people, because I'd seen some comments from the previous one, sort of saying, like, oh, it's just a slice of life. You guys came in with the expectation... Like, there was a lot of expectations built up about it. And I think that may be true, but I think that, like, our opinion has, like, changed drastically since, like, the beginning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that I'm not disappointed because I had all these crazy expectations. I think I'm disappointed because the show is kind of letting me down in some ways I wasn't expecting.
The show is letting us down, yeah. I feel like, especially when you think about, like, all the mystery with, like, Fuko and the, like, first of all, the OP, second of all, the like, out of world things with the bear.
Yeah, like, that is...
Thirdly, Fuko disappear. Did I say Fuko already? Firstly, the Fuko thing. Secondly, the OP alluding to all the connections between all those things. Fuko in the forest and the fucking bear, and Nagisa laying in the snow and the bear laying in the snow. The girl looking weirdly like a young version of Nagisa's mom.
Yeah.
And, like, there's so much mystery and intrigue regarding that, and then we got more of that in the Kotomi arc, and then, and we're, you know, it seems like there's 2 things happening, and they're completely separate. There's, like, the paranormal stuff, and then there's the drama club stuff. And what just happened in the last 2 episodes has nothing to do with either. And so if it keeps doing that, I'm not gonna be happy. That's where I'm at. I'm good with that. I'm good with leaving the episode on that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I don't think that's... One last thing. I don't think that it has anything to do with us expecting too much from the show, or not going into a slice of life expecting there to be nothing happening all the time. I'm going off of the show has set up all of these things and is going in a completely different direction if it keeps going in this direction, and has been, like... Anyway, that's it. Yeah. I don't feel like that has anything to do with us necessarily, at least very little. I think the show had a very strong start and set expectations for itself a little bit. Yeah.
But we'll see in the next episode. I hope you guys, if you're still here, please like this video, leave a comment, and stick around for next one. I'm Lindsay.
Carson. You need to say goodbye. Bye.